Direct democracy in the United States of America. A ballot measure allows the voters to make public policy. It is a form of direct democracy. Initiative and referendum are the two ballot measures frequently used at the state and local level in the United States. Initiative involves an election that allows voters to propose legislation and to vote on it. When an initiative gets on the ballot, it is typically referred to as proposition. Propositions are typically written by lawyers working for special interest groups. Understanding or even keeping track of different propositions can be confusing because in some states, for example in California, there can be many different propositions on the ballot in the same election year, and because they're often written in a language that uses legal jargon and deals with esoteric issues that voters may not fully understand. The Nevada State Constitution was amended in 1912 to allow the initiative process. Referendum involves an election in which a state legislature presents legislation to voters. It is the voters who decide whether this legislation should become law or should be rejected. The Nevada State Constitution was amended in 1905 to allow referendum. Finally, recall is an election in which a state or local official can be removed from office by the voters before the next regularly scheduled election. Another name for recall is deelection. Recall elections are rare, especially at the state level. As of the end of 2018, only 2 governors have been ever recalled: Lynn Frazier of North Dakota in 1921 and Gray Davis of California in 2003. Direct democracy was meant to shift power away from corrupt political party machines to the people, particularly to the middle class. Progressive era movement was led by upper middle class people, for example by doctors and lawyers. In reality, direct democracy shifted power away from political parties to organized interest groups. The mass of the American electorate is ignorant and disinterested when it comes to politics. The amount of information and pseudo-information and noise is already overwhelming. Direct democracy adds a bewildering array of choices that is hard for the average voter to follow, much less act on with foresight and wisdom. Organized interest groups are highly focused, lawyered up, and have greater financial resources than the average voter. Propositions are generally written by lawyers they employ. Thus, direct democracy is essentially a legal battlefield of various interest groups.